action movies. I like to mix the noodles with the rice. Okay, y'all, so I want to continue my story about my friend. Today we're having black bean noodle, lollipop wings, crab rangoon, potstickers, white rice. So, Sasha and I met at my first job. We were really good friends for a really long time until she married this guy she got pregnant by. Now let's backtrack a little bit. Back in '08, my cat's fucking climbing on top of the refrigerator being a goon. And he's just gonna go flying right now. Oh my god. Okay. Where was I? So we went to Cancun. And honestly, y'all, when I came back, I just remember not having fun. Now, mind you, she was dating. So she was dating the guy that she's now divorced to and has a kid with. And I think we dated for like 2 years at that point. Yeah, so I dated for 2 years. But I didn't really fuck with him. We just didn't really care for each other. Like, we never all hung out together. I was always separate. But I remember on the airplane going there, she was so fucking excited. I'm gonna keep it real short as far as the details of what happened. We went to this bar in Mexico. She fell in love with this guy named Felipe. I think his name was actually Felipe. Who's a bartender. The last night and the third night, she left me. She bailed on me. And mind you, cell phones don't work in Mexico, so I couldn't even get a hold of her. And it was still early, but I had woken up really early, but she wasn't home yet. And I was like, oh my god, but I was like, you know what, if this motherfucker did something to her, I know exactly where he works. I know all his little bartender friends. Like, we know who this motherfucker is. Even though I was fucking worried as shit, she comes back eventually and she's just like, whirlwind, like so in love with dude. And I just was like, all right, girl, live your life. I never got into it with her. I was only able to support a friend, even though I wanted to be like, yo, shit you did was fucked up. I was genuinely worried about her. I mean, we did have a good time, like the second night. That was the first time I ever stayed up from night until like the sunrise. But the last night, she left me. But it was dumb. That's how shit happens. Being dumb bitches. But I'm very disappointed in how we handled that. Like, we thought we were invincible. Like, if I ever have a daughter, I'm locking that hole in the attic. Like, you ain't going nowhere. So, we come back, and her dumbass, like, I think she wanted to get caught. She ended up telling AJ's friend's girlfriend about her little fling in Mexico. And of course, AJ found out. Months had passed, okay? They had broken up, I think it was like a year. And Sasha and I were still friends. We didn't work together anymore at this point, all of us, so it wasn't like awkward or anything. Oh wait, no. Before they had gotten back together, she went back to Mexico, just impulsively, spent another weekend with dude. She comes back, and then at that point it had been several months, you know, and I guess their relationship obviously fizzled out. Like, I don't know what she thought was gonna happen, or like romanticizing shit, but it didn't work out. Dude ended up having, that guy Felipe ended up having a baby with somebody else who was also a tourist. What the fuck? Oh my god, like, wrap it the fuck up. I digress. So her and AJ broke up. Had been a few months. Sasha goes back down there, fucks dude, comes back. It's been several months again. But then dude gave her another chance. And that was the whole thing, was like their trust was gone. You know, because he just kept making her feel guilty, reprimanding her, living in the past, like always bringing it up. So their relationship just wasn't the same. Now, several months later, and one day she goes, Lauren, I think I'm pregnant. And I was more like, Lauren, I think I'm pregnant. I was like, bitch, why? And I had known the time frame because it'd been several months. Obviously, she wasn't pregnant by dude. It was like the time frame was several months. Like from the time she had seen dude to the time she was dating dude, it had at least been a year. Because she had gone back to see dude like a couple months after, like 3 months. A couple weeks go by, she's like, Lauren, I'm not pregnant. I got my period. I was like, okay, cool, bitch. Whew. A month later, Lauren, I'm pregnant. Like, for real this time? And I just knew at that point that, like, our lives were never going to be the same. Like, our friendship wasn't going to be the same. So she was pregnant by AJ, not Felipe. That was several months ago, to a year ago. Because what happened was they ended up getting married, and she admitted later on in like 2012 shit, 2011, 2012 shit, that the reason that she got married was because she was pregnant and wanted to save her relationship. She wanted to do the right thing. She trapped this guy. She straight up trapped this guy, and everyone knew it. But everyone always asked me, is that dude from Mexico's baby? And I always defended her. I'm like, no, the range of time was off, but like no one ever really believed me because they weren't there. It wasn't the same timeline. Yeah, it was definitely AJ's baby. So after she got married to AJ, I think they were married for like 2 or 3 years, never saw her. Our friendship like went downhill. And I couldn't figure out why, because I didn't think she'd be the type of bitch, because she was like so strong-willed and just like very independent and like did whatever she wanted and like wouldn't let a man tell her what to do or who to hang out with, that she would listen to AJ, because I knew he didn't like me, because he still blamed me for the Mexico incident. Because he just couldn't accept the fact that his girlfriend was a hoe. But I was a hoe. But I didn't tell that hoe to go be a hoe. We just like ran in the same circles of hoe-ness. I don't know, y'all. I think the kid's like, he's a grown-ass kid now. He's like maybe 12 to 14, like teenage shit. I don't know. 12. So, while she's married to dude, his family lives in Texas. She ends up moving to Texas. So our relationship was just like, we barely interacted. She eventually gets divorced. For obvious reasons, because this guy held a grudge for forever. And she broke down to me in tears saying that she got married to save her relationship, that AJ didn't want her hanging out with me, and that's why she had kind of drifted away. And we just like had a good old cry sesh, and she vowed that would never happen again. She ended up staying in Texas, and then oh, Sasha. I think she has a baby with a guy that she's married to now. So she's been married twice. Has another baby, so the other kid has a half sibling. However, he was separated at the time that they met. So he was still legally married to somebody else. They didn't have kids. They met each other through work. They had an affair, pretty much, because he was still with her, even though they were separated, even though he wasn't happy. And at one point, he even tried to end it with Sasha and go back to old girl. And he just wasn't happy. And she was like, all right, fuck you. Like, I don't want to have anything to do with you. Like, don't come back to me. And when he finally realized that he wanted Sasha and not old girl, he left and divorced old girl for Sasha. If I was old girl, oh, I can't imagine how salty she. I truly do wish her well. But it's just like, okay, if they did that to somebody else, what makes you think they're not going to do that to you? If somebody else better comes along when you're not making them happy because they're not happy with themselves, like, ooh, lords. You just go apart. Yeah. I'm okay with being a crazy cat lady because those are the only motherfuckers that I fuck with. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We're coming back.